Alright, we're going to learn about the PHP List command and Explode. Basically, these are two core functionalities of PHP, and they allow you to do some pretty cool stuff. Explode is a function that lets you take an array, and it'll explode a variable into an array by a certain number. So let's say, for example, we have a string and it's like 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, right? Say that's our string. Okay, let me actually put this in PHP terms here, just so we're on the same page. Okay, so we're going to say a string equals 1 2 3 4. Okay, we can say array, let me put in a variable, array, okay, just random variable array, equals explode by comma that string. And what this is going to do is it's going to explode this string by the comma, and now we're going to have an array. So if we do a var dump on the array, we're going to get an array of 1 2 3 4. Let me just hit this. Okay, so we've got an array now of 1 2 3 4 and no commas. Okay, there's a reverse function that's called implode as well. So if I implode by comma, it'll bring it back together by a comma. But we're not going to go over implode today. We're just doing explode. So there's explode. Now list, what list does is list will take an array. So the result of this is an array. Okay, well, let's take our array here. Let's make this a little bit more simple. So we've got our array, and we're gonna list is the result of the array. So you could say, okay, let's make this array copy equals array. Okay, this will make array copy an exact copy because it stores what's in here over into this left side. Okay, now what we're going to do is, instead of storing this whole array into a new array, we're going to store this whole array into variables. Now, why is this important? If you know what is going to be in your array, then this is really nice. So we're going to do list, and we're going to say 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. These are 4 different variables now, and I'm storing array into 4 different variables. Okay, right here. This is very convenient, and I'll show you why in a minute. But if I just do a var dump on 1, okay, just on 1 itself, save, and go ahead and refresh, see it's 1. Okay, I was able to store the first index of the array into here. Okay, the first index of the array right into this 1, and now I'm able to export the data right here. Okay, so let's go into a full out example. So there's these files that look like this. These are Final Cut Pro output files. So when you output data, and this is from videos from CMI VFX. You can check them out online, cmivfx.com. So this is a chapter file that gets created from Final Cut Pro. It's not a really good format, but basically what it is it's a list, the lines, see 1 2 line, and each line is a tabbed entity. So let's, ignoring this first line because these are just titles. You have this first line and then a tab, and then the next line and then a tab, and then the next line and the tab, and the next line and the tab. Okay, so each line is separated by a line break \n, and each item is separated by a tab. So we can explode by line, and then we can explode by tab, storing each of these into their respective variables. So let me go ahead and show you that. So first step that we're going to do is I'm just going to make this HTML form real quick, and I'm just going to paste this in here so I don't bore you with it. In HTML form, all it is a text area. I'm going to directly paste that XML file in. Okay. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure that the post was sent before we do anything, because we're posting to the same file. So we're just going to do an if is set post chapter text. This name is chapter text. Okay, so if chapter text has been posted to this file, because we're posting directly to this file, that's why we're doing this. Okay, so once we've checked, first we're going to get each line in an array. We want an array of lines, so we're going to say lines equals explode. Now, a line break, I know it's invisible, and I'm sorry it's invisible, but there's a \n here, and here, and here. Throughout each one, every line is separated by a \n, even though you can't see it. So we're going to explode by \n, which is the enter key. And what we're exploding is basically this post chapter text, because that's the whole thing. Okay? So we're exploding by that. So now we've got lines. Okay? Now, we're not going to use, we don't know how many lines there are going to be. We don't know how many chapters there are going to be. So we're not going to list here. We're just going to loop through these. So we're going to say for each lines as line. And we're going to say as key first. So a key, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, as key is line. Okay? And each line is going to be that tabbed item. Okay? So we're looping through. Now, why are we capturing the key here? Because you don't have to do that. You can just do this, right? But there's a reason for capturing the key. Remember that first line that we had? That first line right here? This is line 0, and we don't want this at all. This is just our titles. We don't want that. So we're going to skip line 0. And to make sure we're skipping line 0, we need to check for key 0. That's why we're doing that. Okay? Because key, in each one, each iteration of since on each line, this is key 0. This is key 1, this is key 2, this is key 3, key 4, okay? That's how that's going. So we're going to say if key is greater than 0. So we're only doing anything if we're past that title line. Okay, that's the point of that. Okay, hopefully you're following that. So now that we're past key 0 in our code, so we're here now. Now we need to parse this line by tab. Each of these is a tab. See when I highlight that, it doesn't highlight one space, it highlights 5. This is a tab. So we can say, so I could say parts equals explode line, explode by a tab, which is \t, okay, explode line by that. Now that's just going to give me an array. Now we're not going to use list, we're supposed to use list, but we're not, just to show you how difficult it would be if we didn't. Then we would say, so the first item we don't care about, the second item we don't care about, but the third item in this list we do care about. The third item in this list, this is all the same, we don't care about that. We don't care about that. The third that we care about is right here, and it's going to say this, well, in this case it's chapter 01, in this case it's data acquisition. So that's the first thing we care about, which is not the first one, not the second one, but it's the third one, okay? So we would say parts 3 is, I'm sorry, parts 2, right? We don't want 0, we don't want 1, we want 2. So parts 2 is what we want. So this is what it's called. Parts 2 is what it's called, which, I don't know, that's not very descriptive. This is the title, but that's not descriptive at all. So we would then store, we'd say title equals part 2. And you would actually have to do this for each item. So we would say title equals part 2, and then, comment equals part 3, and then time code equals part 4, and so on and so forth. You have to keep doing that. And that's a lot of variables that you're having to create, which is stupid. So instead of that, we're going to list. We're going to explode into the list, and we're going to say we don't care about the first one, we don't care about the second one, but the first thing after that's going to be the title, and the next thing is going to be the description, and the next thing after that is going to be our time. Okay, which is awesome. So now we've exploded that directly into those variables. So now we've got title, description, and time. We know exactly what they are, and it was very easy to do. So the next thing we're going to do is first we're going to say if the title, because sometimes a title doesn't get sent through for whatever reason. So we're just checking if there's a title being sent. Okay. Now we have a problem because time. Okay. So let's look. So let's actually. Okay. So let's echo out right here. Echo out the time. Okay. Let's just see what we got here. Refresh. And we're going to take our code here and paste that in and hit do it. Okay? So here's our time codes. Time needs to be in seconds for anything that we do on the web. Okay? Explode this again into its time. So this works in hours, minutes, seconds, frames. Okay? So I'm running really low on time, so I'm going to paste this code in here just so you can look at it. But we're going to explode that again by colon this time. Okay, we're going to explode the time by colon, and we're going to store that into frames, seconds, minutes, and hours. It makes perfect sense. And then we're going to do a little bit of math here to actually calculate each of those using those variables into number of seconds. So the number of seconds, the real time, equals hours times 60 times 60. So hours equals seconds. Minutes times 60 equals seconds. Seconds is just seconds. And then the frames, you need to divide by 12 because all these videos are 12 frames a second. So now we've just done some math to convert it. But you can see how useful list is in here and explode, using them together to accomplish a lot of different things.